LionsDenFX. Pfizer misses estimates with Q2 revenue at $12.7 billion. Pfizer Inc. said on Tuesday that its revenue in the second quarter of 2023 amounted to $12.7 billion, plummeting 53% compared to the same period a year earlier and missing estimates. The pharmaceutical giant attributed the revenue drop to expected declines in COVID-19 products Paxlovid and Comirnaty. Uber's Q2 revenue grows by 14% to $9.2 billion. Uber Technologies Inc. unveiled its second quarter earnings report on Tuesday, with its revenue climbing 14% year-on-year to $9.2 billion. The company recorded a net income of $394 million, compared to a net loss of $2.6 billion in the second quarter of 2022. The diluted earnings per share, EPS, came in at 18 cents, up from a loss per share of $1.33 in Q2 2022. Net cash provided by operating activities jumped 171% on an annual basis to $1.2 billion. Uber's gross bookings grew 16% year-over-year, with trips during Q2 rising 22% to around 25 million trips per day on average. Robust demand, new growth initiatives, and continued cost discipline resulted in an excellent quarter, with trips up 22% and a GAAP operating profit, for the first time in Uber's history, CEO Dara Khosrowshahi said. Uber's stock jumped 5.36% in pre-market trade following the announcement. Merck posts Q2 sales of $15 billion, rising 3%. Merck & Company, Inc. reported on Tuesday that its sales in the second quarter grew by 3% from the same period in 2022, reaching $15 billion and exceeding expectations. The company posted a net loss of $5.9 billion, compared to an income of $3.9 billion in Q2 2022, with a loss per share of $2.35. Merck now forecasts its full-year sales will be in the range between $58.6 billion and $59.6 billion. Caterpillar's sales and revenues in Q2 surged 22% to $17.3 billion. Caterpillar Inc. announced on Tuesday that its sales and revenues in the second trimester of fiscal 2023 saw a 22% rise on an annual level, reaching $17.3 billion. Profit per share in the 3 months ending June 30 skyrocketed 81% compared to the same timeframe a year prior, coming in at $5.67. Operating profit in the second quarter stood at $3.6 billion, soaring from $1.9 billion registered in the same period in 2022. For the first 6 months of fiscal 2023, the sales and revenues amounted to $33.2 billion, up 19% year-over-year. BP's Q2 profit tumbles to $1.8 billion. British oil and gas company BP plc revealed on Tuesday that the profit attributable to its shareholders plunged from $9.3 billion registered in the second quarter of fiscal 2022 to $1.8 billion in the same period in 2023. Net debt in the second trimester stood at $23.6 billion, up from $22.8 billion recorded a year ago. Underlying RC profit per ordinary share landed at $14.77, nosediving from $43.58 registered in the same timeframe a year prior. The company revealed that it will be buying back $1.5 billion worth of shares before the third quarter results are revealed. Daimler Truck's revenue up 15% to €13.9 billion in Q2. Daimler Truck said on Tuesday that its revenue for the second quarter of 2023 amounted to €13.9 billion, climbing 15% year-on-year. Net profit was up from €946 million in the second trimester of 2022 to €1 billion this year, while earnings per share, EPS, declined from €1.12 to €1.11. Adjusted EBIT soared 41% compared to the second quarter of 2022 to land at €1.4 billion. Meanwhile, group sales were up 9% to 131,888 units. Toyota's revenues jumped 24% to $73.9 billion in Q1. Toyota Motor Corporation said on Tuesday that its sales revenue for the first quarter of its fiscal 2024 amounted to 10.5 trillion yen, $73.9 billion, climbing 24% year-on-year. Net income for the quarter ending June 30 soared 75% year-on-year to 1.3 trillion yen and operating income skyrocketed 94% to 1.1 trillion yen. Diluted earnings per share attributable to Toyota soared 80% from 53 yen and 65 sen last year to 96 yen and 74 sen. HSBC tops estimates with revenue of $36.9 billion in H1. HSBC Holdings plc said on Tuesday its revenue in the first half of 2023 amounted to $36.9 billion, surging 51% compared to the same period a year earlier and topping expectations. Profit after tax more than doubled year-on-year, climbing from $8.6 billion in the first 6 months of 2022 to $18.1 billion this year. Profit before tax skyrocketed 98% to $21.7 billion and diluted earnings per share stood at 86 cents. LionsDenFX. Follow and stay in the know.